Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're taking a look at, well, it's this Google research paper, and it's all about AI agents.
Oh, cool.
And it's pretty fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, imagine having a personal assistant, right?
Yeah. Mm.
But not just one that, like, manages your schedule, but one that can actually learn what you like, what you don't like, and even help you do things you never thought possible.
Okay. So, like, anticipating what you need before you even know you need it sort of thing?
Yeah, exactly. That's the power of AI agents. We're going to try to break down how these things work, what makes them different from just a plain old chatbot, and why people think this is going to completely change how we use technology.
It's interesting you say that because one thing that really stands out in this paper is how it goes beyond that typical, like, AI is just something that reacts to you.
Right.
It's talking about AI agents that are actually proactive.
Oh,
And they have goals, they can reason, they can plan, and they can actually interact with the real world in some pretty sophisticated ways.
So it's not just like asking Siri to set a timer or play music.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're talking about something way more advanced.
It's just next level.
Okay. But before we get too deep into the weeds here, let's start with the basics. What actually makes, like, what is an AI agent? I mean, how is it different from just a regular chatbot?
Well, think of a chatbot like a program,
So?
It's programmed to respond in specific ways to what you say, based on rules or a limited set of information it's been given.
Okay.
But an AI agent, well, that's a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
It's way more complex. It's like a system that combines a really powerful AI brain with a bunch of tools that let it interact with everything around it.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just about giving clever answers. It's about actually, like, doing stuff.
Right.
Taking action to achieve specific goals.
So I guess it's kind of like the difference between asking a friend for directions and having a self-driving car just take you there, right?
That's a great analogy.
So the paper talks about these three key components of an AI agent: the model, the tools, and this, what they call orchestration layer.
Right.
Could you break those down for us a little bit? Like, what does each one do, and how do they all work together?
Yeah, absolutely. So the model, that's like the brain of the agent, often a large language model.
Okay.
And it's really good at understanding and generating, human-like text.
Okay.
It's the foundation, allows the agent to process information, learn from data, and make those decisions.
So it's kind of like the engine that makes the whole thing go.
Yeah, I like that, the engine.
But an engine needs fuel and a way to steer, right?
Exactly.
Is that where the tools and the orchestration layer come in?
You got it. So the tools are like the agent's hands.
Okay.
They let it actually interact with the outside world. And these tools can be anything from APIs that connect to different services to code libraries that, help it perform specific tasks.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have an AI agent that can access your calendar, book flights, control smart home devices, even write code to automate boring tasks.
It's starting to sound a little like science fiction here.
Yeah, I know.
But it's clear that this is, this technology is moving really fast.
Oh, yeah.
But how does the agent actually know which tools to use and when? That's, I'm guessing, where the orchestration layer comes in.
Yeah, that's it. The orchestration layer, it's like the conductor of an orchestra,
Uh-huh.
It guides all the agent's actions and decisions. So it decides how the agent processes information, chooses the right tools, and then actually executes those tasks in a coordinated way.
So it's not just about having a powerful engine and a bunch of tools.
No.
You need someone who knows how to use them effectively.
Exactly. You need that skilled conductor to bring it all together.
And create something truly amazing. I'm curious about this orchestration layer. Like, how does it actually work?
Okay.
The paper mentions these prompt engineering frameworks like React, Chain of Thought, and Tree of Thoughts. What are those and why are they so important?
So those frameworks, they're essential for, they structure the agent's thinking process.
Okay.
They give it a way to reason and make decisions, helping it break down, like, really complex tasks into smaller steps, and then choose the best way to go about doing things.
Can you give us an example? Like, say you've got an AI agent that's supposed to plan a trip to Europe.
Sure.
How would these frameworks help it do that?
Okay, let's take the chain of thought framework.
Okay.
Imagine the agent breaks down the trip planning into a series of steps, right?
Okay.
Each step has its own things to consider and actions to take. So it might start by, figuring out your travel preferences, budget, and when you're free.
Uh-huh.
Then it would research potential destinations, looking at weather, attractions, things you're interested in.
Right.
And each step builds on the last one. So it creates this logical chain of thought that leads the agent to the best solution.
Oh, interesting. So it's like giving the agent a map, a mental map.
Yeah, like a roadmap.
Yeah, to follow, to figure out this complex task. But what about the tools themselves? The paper goes into detail about different types of tools, including extensions, functions, and data stores. Can we talk about those a little more?
Yeah, definitely. So extensions, those are like direct links to external APIs, right?
Okay.
So the agent can interact with real-world services in real time. Like if it needs to book a flight, it could use an extension to connect to like a travel booking API and get the latest flight information and pricing.
So it's like giving the agent a phone line to call any service it needs.
Exactly. Instant access.
Yeah. Okay, that's incredibly powerful. But what about functions? How are they different?
So functions give developers more control over how the agent interacts with those external systems.
Okay.
Instead of directly accessing the APIs, the agent can actually suggest functions to run on, like the user side. So it's better for security or when you need more control over how the data is used.
Okay, so it's more like the agent is giving instructions, not doing the task itself.
Yeah, precisely.
Okay, that makes sense. And lastly, what about these data stores? What are those all about?
Data stores are super important because they give the agent access to huge amounts of external data. This could be factual databases, or specialized knowledge bases. It's like, imagine giving the agent access to the entire internet.
Wow.
It can research, learn, and then tailor its responses based on all that information.
That's amazing. It's like you're giving it this superpower
Right.
to tap into this massive pool of knowledge and expertise.
Yeah, but with all that power comes responsibility, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You got to make sure these agents are used ethically.
Yeah.
For good and not, not for bad things.
We need to make sure that this technology is used in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
For sure.
So let's continue exploring those possibilities in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good. Okay, so picking up where we left off, let's talk about how these AI agents actually learn and become experts in specific areas. The paper calls this targeted learning.
Targeted learning.
Yeah, it sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But the details are actually super interesting.
Okay. I'm intrigued. I mean, it sounds like this is where AI agents really start to stand out from those more, general AI models.
Exactly. A general purpose AI might be able to, chat about a bunch of different topics.
Right.
But it wouldn't necessarily be an expert in any one thing.
Yeah, makes sense.
But targeted learning lets these agents go deeper and develop real expertise in specific areas.
Okay.
So they can actually do those complex real-world tasks.
So it's like, I guess, the difference between a general practitioner and a specialist.
Yeah, exactly.
You go to your GP for a regular checkup, but if you have something specific wrong,
Right.
you need to see a specialist.
Exactly.
So how does this targeted learning actually work?
So the paper outlines 3 main methods: in-context learning, retrieval-based in-context learning, and fine-tuning-based learning.
Okay.
Each approach is kind of good for different situations.
Okay, let's start with that first one. In-context learning.
Okay.
What's that all about?
So in-context learning is all about giving the AI agent specific information or examples that are relevant to the task it's trying to do.
Okay.
Think of it like giving the agent a crash course on a particular subject.
Okay.
By giving it that relevant data, it can adapt quickly and learn to perform tasks within that specific context.
So you're giving it a set of instructions or a cheat sheet
Yes, something like that.
to help it navigate a new situation.
Oh, right.
Okay, that sounds pretty efficient.
Yeah.
But what about retrieval-based in-context learning?
Well, that one's cool.
What's the difference?
So retrieval-based in-context learning takes it a step further.
Okay.
It gives the agent access to a huge database of information.
Okay.
So instead of just relying on what you give it,
Right.
it can search for and pull out relevant data from this database
Oh, wow.
to make better decisions.
So it's like you're giving it a library card to the world's biggest library.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So it can go and research anything it needs.
That's the idea.
Okay, that really opens up the possibilities.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's fine-tuning based learning.
Right.
How does that one work?
So fine-tuning based learning actually changes the underlying AI model to specialize in a specific domain.
Okay.
It's more intensive, but it can make the agent much more accurate and better at tasks within that specific area.
So you're basically sending it to Like a specialized training program?
Yeah, like a boot camp for AI
Correct.
to become a master in a specific field.
Yeah.
It's like taking a general AI and turning it into a focused expert.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So we've got these AI agents with all this targeted expertise.
Yeah.
How do we actually go about building them? I think the paper mentioned some tools for that.
Yeah, it highlights 2 open source tools, LangChain and LangGraph.
Okay.
They provide a framework for building custom AI agents. So developers can connect those models and tools and the orchestration layer in a really streamlined way.
So it's like you're giving them building blocks
Yeah,
to
exactly.
construct these complex AI agent architectures.
Right, and it makes it so much easier to build these things.
That sounds like a game changer for developers.
Absolutely.
It lets them focus on what makes their agent unique instead of getting bogged down in all the technical details.
Totally, and the paper gives a great example of how to use these tools.
Oh, I love examples.
Yeah.
What is it?
So imagine building an agent that can use Google Search and Google Places API to answer multi-step questions.
Okay.
Like, let's say you ask the agent, where did my favorite team play last week and how do I get to that stadium?
Okay.
Seems simple, right?
Yeah.
But the agent has to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
It needs to figure out your favorite team, find where they played, get the address, and then give you directions.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right. But the agent can use those tools we talked about
Okay.
to do all those steps seamlessly and give you a complete answer.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It shows how these agents can handle things that would be pretty hard for a human to do manually.
For sure.
But building a prototype is one thing. How
Yeah.
do we actually take these AI agents and make them into systems that can really work out in the real world?
That's where Google's Vertex AI platform comes in.
Okay.
It's like a managed environment for
Okay.
building and deploying these production-ready AI agents.
Mhm.
So it handles all the infrastructure and the complicated deployment stuff so developers can just focus on designing and refining the agent.
So it's like a state-of-the-art factory specifically
Yeah.
for building these AI agents.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
So it can work at scale.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Vertex AI gives you the tools and infrastructure you need to take those AI agents from an idea to a real-world application.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it makes them accessible to anyone, really.
Okay, so we've covered a lot about the core components of AI agents,
Yeah.
the tools, the platforms that are making all this happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also curious about the bigger picture. How will these things change the way we live, work, interact with the world?
That's the big question, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, AI agents have the potential to change everything. Healthcare, education, transportation, entertainment.
I'm really interested in the idea of AI agents becoming like personalized assistants.
Yeah.
You know, understanding our individual needs
Yeah.
and helping us achieve our goals.
Right. Yeah.
Like imagine having an AI agent that manages your schedule, books appointments, filters your email,
Wow.
and even suggests new opportunities based on what you're interested in.
That would be amazing.
But that's just the beginning, right?
Oh, yeah, just scratching the surface.
Like what about AI agents in healthcare?
Yeah.
Helping doctors diagnose and plan treatments.
Exactly. Or in education, providing personalized learning experiences for each student,
Yeah.
tailored to their strengths and weaknesses.
The possibilities are really endless.
They really are.
But of course, with any powerful technology, there are downsides we have to think about. We need to make sure these agents are used ethically for good and in a way that benefits humanity.
I completely agree. We need to have open conversations about the risks and challenges.
Yeah.
How do we make sure they're used ethically?
Right.
How do we prevent bias and discrimination?
Yeah.
How do we stay in control of these increasingly intelligent systems?
These are questions we need to be asking now
For sure.
while this technology is still developing.
Definitely. We have a responsibility to shape the future of AI and make sure it benefits everyone.
I agree. The future of AI isn't set in stone.
No, it's not.
It's up to us to guide its development
Right.
and make sure it serves humanity,
Absolutely.
not the other way around.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But thinking beyond those big societal implications,
Yeah.
I'm also curious about how AI agents will impact our daily lives,
Yeah, me too.
like how we interact with technology every day.
Right.
Are we going to be constantly talking to AI agents?
Who knows?
Will they become like our main way of interacting with the digital world?
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
As they get more sophisticated and integrated into our devices, they could become like our digital companions,
Yeah.
helping us deal with this increasingly complex online world.
But that brings up some interesting questions.
Yeah, like what?
about how humans and computers interact.
Mm-hmm.
Will we become too reliant on these AI agents?
Yeah, will they make us worse at solving problems ourselves?
Or making our own decisions?
Those are important things to think about.
Yeah.
We need to design these agents so they empower people, not
Right.
take away their power.
I agree.
It's all about finding that balance
Uh-huh.
between automation and human control,
Yeah.
so people are still in charge of their digital lives.
This is a really interesting discussion.
It is.
And it's clear that there's a lot to think about
Yeah, definitely.
as AI agents become more and more common in our lives.
For sure.
But I think we've covered a lot in this episode.
Yeah, we have.
Let's take a minute to recap the key takeaways so far.
That sounds good.
So we've been talking all about AI agents, exploring this Google research paper that really lays out the future of AI. It's not just about answering our questions anymore. It's about AI that understands what we need, what we want, and then helps us get there.
It really is a shift from AI as just a tool to AI as like an active partner, almost like having a whole team of experts behind you helping you navigate everything.
And we talked about those three main components that make these agents so powerful. The model, the tools, and that orchestration layer.
Right. The model being the AI brain, usually a large language model, that lets it process information and make decisions. It's like the base, the foundation that everything else is built on.
And then the tools, those are like the hands of the agent, right? Giving it the ability to interact with the world. We talked about extensions connecting to different services, functions giving developers more control, and data stores giving access to tons of information.
Like giving them a superpower, right? Tapping into all that knowledge and capability.
And of course, the orchestration layer, which is like the conductor making sure everything works together smoothly. We also talked about how these agents can become experts in specific areas, through targeted learning, in-context learning, retrieval-based learning, or fine-tuning, like specialized training to handle complex tasks, almost like human specialists.
Yeah, and it's that specialized learning that makes them so valuable. They can help solve real-world problems in healthcare, finance, education, really any field.
And we talked about the tools that are making it easier to build these AI agents. LangChain and LangGraph, which give frameworks for developers.
Yeah.
And Vertex AI, which is like a managed environment for making those production-ready systems. It's amazing how fast this technology is changing.
It really is. But as these agents become more sophisticated, as they start being a bigger part of our lives, we have to think about the ethics.
Oh, absolutely. We have to make sure they're developed responsibly, that their actions line up with our values, and that they're used for good, not for bad.
Exactly. We need those open conversations about the risks and challenges. How do we ensure ethical use, prevent bias, and stay in control as these systems get smarter?
We need to be asking those questions now. While this technology is still being developed,
Yeah,
we have a responsibility to shape the future of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
I completely agree. The future is not set. It's up to us to guide it and make sure it serves humanity.
Not the other way around.
That's it.
It's been amazing exploring the world of AI agents, and I hope everyone listening now has a better understanding of this incredible technology. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.